Welcome back and welcome to Module 3. Module 3 is going to be where you really start to get some practice in writing those Python scripts. So the objectives for this particular module are to learn what an IDE is and to list the most common Python 3 IDEs. We are going to update Arc Pro to include an additional IDE package called Spider that you'll work with in this module and then later in the semester. We are going to work primarily with an IDE called idle. That's the one that becomes automatically installed with Python 3 and with any Python installation. So that's the one you're going to get a lot of practice with. We are going to start writing programs that use basic math and print functions. We're going to learn about variables and how to use variables, and we're going to really expand our understanding of the print function within Python. If you have learned Python in the past, if you learned Python 2, the print function is a significant change between Python 2 and Python 3. In Python 2, you did not have to have any parentheses around the things that you wanted to print in the print statement. In Python 3, it is a requirement that anything you want to have print be in parentheses. And Python 3 is pretty good about reminding you. If you try to save a program or execute a line of code that doesn't have it, usually a little pop-up box comes up. But if you are already a Python user from a previous version, might be something that's a little frustrating to you. I often keep forgetting it, and I'm having to update all of my scripts to include that particular update. All right, so learning resources for this module are going to be Canvas and the textbook, and data management for this particular module. It's incredibly important that you create a Module 3 folder to save your scripts, and then we are just going to click Next at the bottom here to get started. All right, so here is your first learning page for Module 3, learning about the Python editors, the IDEs, which stands for Integrated Development Environments. You have a couple of activities here. One is to read Chapter 2 of your textbook. When I ask you to read your textbook, I'll be very clear about whether or not I expect you to run the code that's in the pages or not. He includes a ton of practice code in the pages. Some of it would run properly if you were to type it into your screen. Some of it would not, simply because he's referencing things on his computer or on another system, or he's referencing scripts that maybe he had written before. So for this one, for Chapter 2, I do not expect for you to take the time to run the code that's within the chapter. I just want you to read over it and start to see how those codes are set up. And we are going to have plenty of opportunities to practice when we do the actual exercise that's associated with Chapter 2 from the textbook author. So Activity 2 is to actually complete that Chapter 2 exercise from the author. Very important that the PyCharm portion of it is not required. PyCharm is another software, that's another IDE that you can install on your computer that just works differently. It's a slightly different setup, has different options, still runs Python code, but like I said before, we're going to focus on the idle IDE, and then also we'll have you install Spider throughout this chapter so that you can see another IDE. So what you need to do here is download this PDF, download it to your Module 3 folder, download this data package as well to your Module 3 folder. You want to make sure that you unzip the data file. You need to unzip it into your Module 3 folder, and you're going to have to do a little bit of cleanup on the structure of this particular folder. It will unzip perhaps into multiple folders that are called Python Scripting EX02. You want to make sure that you eventually have all of the data for EX02 sitting here under Module 3, the folder name for the zip file, and then this EX02. So you may have to kind of move some things around to clean that up. There's nothing to turn in for the activity, but it is critical that you do the activity in order to understand what's going to come next. So at this point, you should download and unzip. Once you do that, you're going to start running your own simple programs. The first thing I'm going to have you do here is you're going to download a program, save it to Module 3, and then I talk you through about how to go about and run it. So you're just going to see how what a program looks like and how it runs within idle. The second activity, you're going to jump right in and write your own little program. You're going to write Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and be introduced to the print function, some of the layout. You're going to be introduced to the concept of header comments, which are required in this class. And then also you're going to do another activity, which is going to write the same little program within Spider. So Spider is that other IDE we're going to play with throughout the semester. And actually moving forward, if you prefer Spider, that's fine. You're going to see most of my examples are going to come from Idle because it's a little cleaner to do screenshots from, but you are welcome to use Spider throughout the semester as well. All right, Idle, math, and comments. You're going to come back in here. You're going to get a bit of a refresher about Idle since you spent some time with Spider. We're going to circle back to Idle. We're going to introduce the main windows in Idle. We're going to start writing some lines of code just interactively without saving it as a program, but just compiling it and running it on the fly. And you're going to notice that you're going to have some assignments here. You're going to need to start taking some screenshots as you move through these activities in order to turn in at the end of the module. You're going to learn about how Python does math, how you can get math to work. We're going to remind ourselves of PEMDAS, those order of operations within math. And then we're going to learn a little bit more about comments, about how comments can be used in programming, how integral they are for our understanding, and you're going to start to see lots of them throughout the semester. All right, the next thing you're going to land on here for Module 3 is the assignment. And the assignment is to turn in a document, a PDF, doc, whatever you want to turn in, that has the screenshots that you were prompted to save in the previous page. All right, so that's going to be the assignment for this portion of the module. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about variables and strings. You're going to learn about what those variables are, and then you're going to do some activities that's going to play with variables, and you'll notice here that you have an assignment for our variables and strings. And your assignment will be, you'll click on the next to get your assignment. So here in this section, you're going to learn about the print function. Print is a statement, but print is also a function, and it has some interesting things that can be done with it. So you're going to learn how to print text. You're going to learn how to print numbers. You're going to learn how to print both text and numbers together, some of the different ways that we do that. So this is a lot of you typing on screen. So anytime you see a screenshot of Idle where I have typed some code, that means that you're expected to type that code. Sometimes I will just do it this way and give you on the Canvas page what I want you to type in when I think you understand at this point that this is in the shell window where you're typing this in, and then this is what reports out of when you hit return. So on these things, it's expected that you are typing these things in and following along. You'll also see that we get an error. So this is going to be your first introduction to an error, and you'll see how we walk through that. All right, so click next, and we're going to get to our assignment. So here's the assignment. The assignment is that you are going to actually write a script. But don't worry, like it says, you've got this. After going through all of that material on modules 1, 2, and 3, you've got this. And all you have to do is go back and reference the activities and the examples that you've been practicing all the way up till now if you need a refresher in what some of these things are. So you're just going to upload your first Python script. And I will tell you that when you upload Python scripts, what happens is that the instructor and the TA run those scripts to ensure that they're working properly. You'll also notice that from after this assignment on, we also are going to require that you turn in a screenshot showing that your program ran successfully on your machine. So that's usually a dual turn in. For this one, I'm just asking for your script, but for moving forward, you'll also sometimes see that we need an image turned in with it as well. All right, and then you're done. You end the module on writing that nice script and feeling all proud of yourself. So if you have any questions as you move through the module, you know what to do. Reach out to me or reach out to Abby, and I will see you over in week 2 with Module 4.